Okay, guys, welcome to another edition of the Real vs. Fake series. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Much appreciated. Um, Not significantly a highly anticipated shoe for the Maniere fans. I guess you could say it is. But this release hit really different. There still may be sizes actually available on their website. And the rumor is it may not even hit sneakers app. But anyway, these are the Jordan 3 Maniere Diffused Blues. Some people are indifferent about the color combination. I am myself, to be honest. But at the end of the day, of course, in hand, perceptions change typically. And these are dope. These are fresh. I'll say it that way. But obviously, you see me pointing to the right here. This is the authentic here on the right. On the left, the smaller box is the replication. You do see a small distinct color variation from the box here. They're both glossy. I mean, I'll be very fair. In person, they do look identical, except the box is too small here on the replication, as we're used to save on logistics and so forth. We already know how this works, guys. And it's definitely too small because these are both a size 12 men. But we're going to get into it. And again, I appreciate you guys coming on back in here to check the series out. And let's continue it. We're going to go ahead and start checking out the internals. So let's go ahead and remove the lid of the authentic here. Shake it a bit. Pretty solid, firm. Not too bad. Let's have a look at the rep. Solid. Similar to the lid of the authentic. Again, it's just a little bit more sturdy. On the authentic, it's sturdy, but it's a bit more... what's the term I'm looking for here? I guess you could say it just bends a lot easier. It's a lot more floppy, right? No diddy on that one. But yeah, this is not as floppy. So, okay, let's look under the lid. We got nothing going on here except the box code here, which is under the lid. Let's see, what does it end in? Well, these are the measurements, obviously. 125, 19 lid, 125. Right, let's have a look at the rep. Looks like the glue didn't stick too well there. And we got the box code here. Let's see, 19 lid, 345, 250, 125. So what they're missing on the lid of the boxes, guys, at the moment, you see on the authentic here to the right, 221689 here, it ain't there. So I think you should look for that 221689. That probably would be a help, because I could tell the amount of digits and numbers was off here on the rep. So there we go. There's a good authentication tactic for this particular pair of shoes. And of course, I'm not too surprised, but I know they're going to update this stuff. On my Maniere paper you see here, we don't see it here. They actually have the general elephant print paper there. So, okay. Let's dig further into the authentic here to the right. Comes with additional set of laces. Cool. I'm pretty sure we're good with it. There's the YDMO sticker. And there's the YDMO sticker as well. Minor color variation. It's a darker green on the rep, lighter on the authentic, with the YDM imprint going all around it. The the replication here, nope, doesn't have any additional prints of the YDM there. Here, we obviously do have the additional laces. Okay, just having a look here. Now on camera, you might not be able to see because we got some nice bright LED lights, but it's a little bit more of a dull white on the rep, bright white, obviously, on the authentic. Also, the imprint of the Jumpman and shoelaces, as you see here, it's not as embossed. Same is going to go on the rear. Same might be the same thing here for the rear. Yep, it's about the same. They do look similar though, but the text here is a bit more legible than the text here on the right. Let's see here. And the text is different here as well. Again, that's something really hard to call out. because when they're authenticating the shoe, the accessories do help tremendously. So we'll leave that alone. And when it comes here, this comes in it. I'm going to tell you guys, if you see stuff like this in a shoe, most likely the shoe's a rep. Off rip. Even if the shoe's authentic and the guy threw it in there, I don't know what reason why, I wouldn't even buy it if you're looking for the authentic pair. So when you see these little gifts in there, the big major concern. And of course, stuff like that, StockX tags. All right, now let's go ahead and get to the actual box labels to compare. But you know what? Now, hold on. Gotta be jumping the gun here. Here we go. Okay, so right off the bat, we can also see box color. It's not even a color tone difference. It's a whole different shade, whole different color, pretty much. Looks like we got a gray here. Here, it's like a super light. You can say it's a gray, but it's a super light gray. Again, obviously here, the trademarks and marketing and so forth. Again, close, similar from the rep to the authentic, except of course it's a lot more legible here and clearer and sharper on the actual authentic. Got the symbols here and the printing down here. All right, let's get to the box labels. Okay, so here is the box label of the authentic pair. So keep in mind to remember to see size 12 and then the woman size below. This is a domestic USA released pair, okay? This is not overseas. Sometimes these tags can be different. So we got the 116 ending in 116 UPC. Again, clean label, we know what it is. Let's go ahead and move on to the rep. Okay, so here we are looking at the replicated label, and right off the bat, we can see immediately it does not show the women's sizing, it just shows the size 12 for the men's size. Let's see here, it says made in Vietnam, as it does say that on the authentic tab also. Unfortunately, they got the UPC code wrong. This one's ended in 216. The authentic ends in 116 for this size 12 at least, guys. And here it says Air Jordan 3 OGSP. The authentic actually says Air Jordan 3 Retro OGSP. And we got a price tag here, which is not on the authentic as well. So keep your eyes peeled on this stuff, guys. And here on the rep, of course, I'm going to show this real quick. The pull tab or the pull hole, whatever you want to call it, twists. On the authentic here, it does not twist. It is solid as a rock. Let's keep it moving. Okay, guys, here we go. This is going to be a lot simpler showing the authentic versus the rep. Authentic, no laces here. And the right, rep has laces. We're going to keep it simple. Can't mix anything up, okay? Happened on my last video. The last like 20 seconds of me showing the shoe, I mixed something up. But thankfully, it was only 20 seconds, so it's not worth redoing the video. So as you can see right off the bat here, we got some differences in the structures and so forth and scaling. We can tell right now just by the toe box. Looking at the toe box here, look at the lining and stitching here on the rep. See, it's got like a lip on there. Here, ain't no lip. Just flows right through, flows right in. So let's do this. What I did want to show quickly to help those out when some people may not understand what I mean by overscaling. Authentic to the right, rep to the left. You see how much bigger the A is on the replication to the left versus the right? It actually looks cleaner on the replication, to be very honest. It's a lot sharper. But I just wanted to show that as an example of overscaling. So let me put that down. Here we have it. Obviously, we got the hang tags here. I'll get into that stuff a little later. But let's do this. Here we go. So right off the bat, you can see, again, like I said, with the scaling, see the suede cut right here on the reps a little bit bigger, a little bit higher than the authentic to the right. Again, we got this high cut here of the stitching of the leather. Here, it's just flush. Look at that. Completely flush. Look at that. Versus the rep. You do got the little widow's peak there. On the authentic, the rep, it's kind of there, but not really. Not really. Now, the tumbled leather is nearly identical. It's a little bit more tumbled on the authentic rep, not as tumbled, but they're both smooth leather, guys. They surely are. And again, looking at the scaling, see how much bigger here, where the tongue starts down here, versus the retail here, smaller. Also, the perforated holes are a little bit bigger on the authentic, rep smaller. Looks like they got the placement correct of the lace hole right up here. But again, when you really look at this stuff, see like the stitching around it, not as clean as the authentic to the right. Let's see, how does the suedes feel? Nearly identical. It's a little bit of a longer nap on the authentic, and it's transitioning. Rep, not so much. However, y'all know what time it is. You get a brush and some ink oil, probably change the game. Let's see here as well. See, they're similar. It's a thicker leather on the authentic, thinner leather on the rep. A little bit of a darker sail midsole on the actual rep. Looks like we got a little bit of paint on the air unit. Here, it's clean. Doesn't mean it's fake because there's paint on the air unit. You know, QC issues are QC issues on retail or reps. You can see how much bigger here. See where the beginning of the collar here? If you compare the size to the right one here, you can see the scaling's bigger on this one, right? Let's see here. What else do we have? They did a good job nearly matching the color of the diffused blue. It's actually darker on the rep and lighter on the authentic. Let's have a look at the medial here. Okay, so it looks like they nearly match the size of the authentic's air unit versus the replica on the left. Again, like I said, a little bit of a darker midsole, sail midsole. Again, just a little bit overscaled. You can tell, see where the cuts are here. See how much bigger this one is. And now, Jumpman is the replica. You can see right off the bat here, the rep is on the right, authentic to the left. You see the bigger cut. And on the rep there, it's just, and on the authentic there to the left, it's obviously a lot lower and cleaner. And the stitch job is better on the authentic versus the rep. Also, what I said about scaling and stuff, let me pull this little cardboard out. There we go. So you see how like the pull tab is wide and the Nike Air is bigger here. Here, it's slimmer and the Nike Air is a little bit smaller on the rep here to the right. Now let's see something. Did they in fact include, as we're used to the writing on the rear here, all we have is each other. Let's see here. And they did. They did include the writing on the reps. All we have is each other. Let's look at the authentic here to compare. Pull tab's a bit stronger on the authentic there. So it's giving me a little bit of a headache here. There we go. So I'll say this, a little bit overscaled on the authentic, but again, nearly identical. It's a little bit of a darker print on the authentic. Okay, so this time around, we're going to grab the authentic with the Jumpman, which is going to go in my left hand, and the replica of the shoe of the replica here. So rep on the right this time, authentic on the left. We can tell by this tag here, the actual rep did not come with that tag right there. Again, as we already know, difference in the toe box stitching, difference in the size of the mud guard there with the suede. It's a bit bigger, longer. Got some nice plush leather there on the Authentic, and on the Rep, not as plush, but leather's nice on it. Again, we got some transition there on the suede of the Authentic. This side, we got a little bit, but not as much. There we go. As we can see here, like I said, smaller area where the tongue starts right here versus how much bigger the Rep is there. Getting different shape around the sock liner. For sure. Let me check something here on the Authentic, the cushioning versus, yeah, way more cushion in the Authentic versus the Rep. Way more cushion. And I'm not trying to like make it sound like, oh my gosh, it's just the truth. Way more cushion. See here, again, guys, Authentic on the left, Rep on the right. Close, but no cigar. We got some different stitching going on here on the Rep. Air unit nearly matches the size there of the Authentic to the left. Again, a darker sail color on the replica and a darker diffused blue. Nearly matches though. Let me look at something here. Yeah, it's right there. Let's have a look at the rear again. Rep on the right. Excuse me, Authentic on the right, Rep on the left, okay? Again, you can tell by how high the suede cut is, and here, how low it is. Let's remove that cardboard. Of course, Nike Air. Bigger on the Authentic, smaller on the Rep. Again, got the wide pull tab, small pull tab. See here, and it's all about lighting here. Yeah, it's like the color of the diffused blue on the Rep. When I say like it's darker, it just pops a lot more, right? Where the Authentic's a bit more dull. Can say that for sure. Let's have a look here. Authentic right, Rep left. Again, very close, but again, darker sail midsole, lighter sail midsole. And again, bigger mud guard. The shoes actually seems to be a little bit longer. And we can leave it at that. And now let's move forward to the blacklight test. But I'm going to tell you guys something. We're calling all these differences out in this video. You got to understand, this shoe by itself, forget about it. You're not looking at it twice while you walk in the streets with it, thinking, oh, is that a fake? Is that a rep? Ain't happening. It just ain't happening. That's how close that is on its own. But all right, let's move to the blacklight test. Right, Authentic, ain't got much going on. No guidelines or anything like that. On the Rep, let's see, no guidelines either, and the stitching is lighting up here as it is here on the Authentic as well. There it is at the top of the tongue as well. Same thing on the Rep here as well. See, this is the scary stuff, guys, when they're really matching things up to this level. Let me check the outsole. There's a watermark there. As you can see, that little red blot. Happens on Authentics too, not often. Let me check this one. Nope, not on the Authentic Rep. Excuse me, not on the Authentic outsole at all. Let's check here. Once again, yeah, just that red blotch there. Let me check this one. Nope, nothing there as well. So no guidelines on the Rep. Wait, let me check the back here. There it is. There's your guidelines, guys. And I'm sure it's on the other shoe as well. Yep, there you go. Let's have a look at the Authentic. Nope, no guideline on the Authentic. Let's have a look at the other one. And there we go. All right, so let's keep it moving. Okay, let's have a look at the lasting boards here. Authentic on the left. You see the stitching, it's positioned a bit differently. It looks like Nike went with a thinner stitch line this time. When I say stitch line, I'm referring to the actual stitch itself there. And on the rep to the right, it's a bit thicker, bit more slanted as well going around. It's usually typical on a lot of the reps that they actually look like that, versus the Authentics a lot where they're just a little bit more spaced out and a little bit more cleaner of a stitch up, not as tight, right? Or as strong. Now, looking here at the tags, the Authentic here, it's a lot bolder. The dates are obviously different from the rep, and the UPC numbers are different. And just below there, there's another number ending in RNA on the Authentic to the left. To the right, it's a different number. That they never get right. Those are always different from the Authentics every time, every single time. There's a lot they get right on this. There's quite a bit they get wrong. VW1 Factory, they got right as well. Let's keep it moving. Okay, guys, we're at the time we're about to finish this up, so let's get to it. So here's the Authentic actual insole, and here is the replicated one. As you could see, the replicated one's a bit more glossy and a darker diffused blue. Here, like matte black, no gloss, lighter. Also, something pretty you can see right now. The patch here is big. Here, it's a lot smaller on the rep. Not the greatest stitch job going around it as well. And here we got the men's size 12, bold men's size here, not bold at all really, and it's a thinner text. We'll say that much. And yeah, see how bold the SP 2025 here, not as bold, too small, right? We'll just leave it at that. And on the rear, we got a shiny dream cell on the Authentic. Here we got a matte black dream cell. They tried to get it as close as they could for sure. Rep is coming with the cardboard shoe tree. It does not on the Authentic. Comes with the actual tissue paper for the shoe tree. So that pretty much sums all that up right now. And let's go ahead and move forward. Now, real quick, just to concentrate here on the hang tags. We don't have to get too deep into them. So the Authentic here, it's a lot more clearer of a hang tag. Here you got a little bit of fog. And the Nike Air, the design here, hang tag's actually a little bit smaller than the Authentic here to the right. And they did get the spelling and print and everything correct on the cardboard tags here, except the Authentic is what you could probably see here. It's a little bit bigger and the text is bolder and a lot more legible. Just simple as that, guys. Nothing too deep to get into there with that. And, that'll be it. And, these are just the differences, guys, that, you guys want to be careful with. The toe boxes on the threes, though they get them close, it's never really correct. It's a different shape, bit of a slope and so forth on them. But that's how this stuff, that's just how this goes. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, whatever you decide is worth your money. Even the stitching here along the lace holes there versus the ones here, like you can see there's a significant difference in the quality of stitching. Looks to be a little bit thinner here, but again, in case you guys have to buy this on the secondary market, I hope you don't have to, but if you do, you do get some tips and tricks on just having a look to see if your pair is authentic or not. And there's probably a lot more to this, so everybody in the comments, definitely dig deep. Let me know what else you guys see that could help others out there. And again, this platform on YouTube is not to promote reps whatsoever at all. It's just to show the differences so people don't get scammed on the streets, because I personally been scammed. So it's not the greatest feeling. And, at the end of the day, it's a loss of money when you get scammed like that. Thankfully, I didn't pay resale, but still got scammed at the end of the day. But we're going to leave it at that. I appreciate y'all hanging out with your boy. Much respect, and y'all know what it is. Peace.